Hi guys.
Hello.
Okay, so today we'll discuss the continuation of the previous week's topic. So last week we have discussed what the budget. So the company typically will start with a fixed budget. Okay, in the beginning of the financial year, so they will estimate the level of production and level of sales that they have to achieve in order to achieve their financial goals or financial objectives. Okay, and then they will, once they start the operation or the manufacturing activities, they will develop the flexible budget. Okay, so basically they want to capture any variations in the quantity of the production, okay, or sales. And if they find problems, they can do some immediate action to correct the problems. Okay, so just to remind you the budgeting process. So we have discussed this last week. So the company will first, they will set their financial objectives, okay, or the financial target, their level of profit or level return of equities or return on asset that they want to achieve. Okay, and then they will transform this target into their production plan or operational plan. Okay, so start with the sales budget. So in order to achieve these financial objectives, what level of sales that the company should achieve, okay, to get the level of returns that the shareholders or the director or CEO want. Okay, and then once they set the level of sales that they have to achieve, they will transform this to the production budget. Okay, so in order to achieve the sales target, what level of finished good or inventory should be produced. Okay, and then they will have three main production cost budget. So material purchase budget, and then direct labor budget, and also manufacturing overhead budget. Okay, and also one additional budget which capture the selling and admin expenses. Okay, and finally they will transform or they will capture all this budget from the revenue side and the cost side in the cash budget. Okay, so in the cash budget, the company identify the cash inflow and cash outflows. So cash inflow from sales and cash outflow from paying the expenses and the manufacturing costs. Okay, as we have discussed, it's really critical that we properly identify the term of sales and revenues, okay, in calculating the cash budget, because we have to identify the timing of the cash collection and cash payment. Okay, and lastly, the company could prepare the budgeted income statement. So they have the budget balances, budget profit and loss, and also budget statement of one's equity, and also other statement. Okay, so this is basically the whole process of master budget. So today we are going to discuss specifically with the controlling function of the budget. Okay, so as we have discussed, the budget have three main functions. So for planning, and then executing or organizing the activities, and also controlling the performance of the activities. Okay, so in order to control their activities or their operational performance, the manager needs to evaluate the level of performance, okay, in accordance with the initial budget, and also identify whether there's any problems or any discrepancies between the actual performance and the budget. Okay, so one tools that the manager use to control the activities is the variance. Okay, so variances between the flexible budget and the actual performance. Okay, so before we move to the variance, at this point, I think you already understand that we have three type of information. in the budgeting process. So we have the static budget, which is constant or fixed from the beginning of the accounting year up to the end of the accounting year. So in the static budget, the company will use the budget quantity, okay, and then the budget price and budget cost, or we may also call it standard price or standard cost. Okay, so per unit. Okay, so this type of budget is very useful for planning. So in the beginning of the accounting years, the company will estimate the level of quantity and also the unit cost and unit price. Okay, so in the planning stage. And then once they start the operational activities, they will develop the flexible budget. Okay, so the flexible budget will use the actual quantity and the budget price or budget cost. Okay, so standard price, standard cost. So basically the flexible budget will take this standard price and standard cost from the static budget and also take the actual quantity from the actual performance. Okay, so in order to calculate the flexible budget figures. Okay, so the idea in the flexible budget that the company want to capture the discrepancies or any variation in the quantity, okay, quantity of produced or quantity or of sales that they have. Okay, and lastly, we have the actual performance. So this is the actual result that the company have during the financial years. Okay, so in the actual performance, we have the actual quantity and also actual price and actual cost. So our main focus in this topic is the difference between the flexible budget and the actual performance. Okay, which is the variance. So the flexible budget will also use the actual performance, sorry, actual quantity. So basically, there's no difference in the level of quantity, but we're really focusing on the difference between these two, between the actual price and the budget price and actual cost with the budget cost. Okay, so this the differences between these two will be the main driver of the variance. Okay, so whether we have differences in the budget price and actual price, and also the budget cost and the actual cost. Okay, so the logic is quite simple. So if let me write it here. So if we have the standard price and the actual price, okay, so standard price and actual price. So if the standard price is higher than the actual price, it means the company consume less resources or less cash, okay, in their production activities. Okay, so their budget, though the actual performance is smaller than the budget, so we will have this condition, we will have a favorable variance. Okay, but if the standard price is smaller than the actual price, okay, so the company use more resources or use more cash in their production activities, then in this case we will have unfavorable variance. Okay, so this is from the cost side, sorry, the price side, the revenue side. Okay, so higher price mean more revenue for the company, so it means favorable. But the lower price is less revenue for the company, so it will be unfavorable for them. Okay, so this is the logic. I think it's quite simple, so you don't have to worry much about the logic. But it's really critical you get the logic correct, because this logic will guide you in the calculation of variance. Okay, and then from the cost perspective, so we have the standard cost and the actual cost. Okay, so if the standard cost is higher than the actual cost, it means the company consume more resources or paying more cash, okay, to the suppliers. Okay, so in this case, we will have unfavorable variance. Okay, and if the standard cost is smaller than the actual cost, it means the company use less resources or pay less cost to the suppliers. So they will have favorable variance. Okay, so basically this unfavorable variance is a symptom of a problems. Okay, so if the manager see a very significant or substantial amount of variance in the unfavorable sign, they will need to investigate further what is really happening in the specific areas. Okay, so in case there's a problem there, and the manager should take some corrective actions to correct the problems. Okay, so it may sign problems in the activities, so the managers need to investigate further. Okay, so this is the basic logic that you need to understand in the variance. Okay, so sometimes if you use the formula, sometimes you get positive and negative numbers, but it doesn't really mean positive and negative. Okay, so it simply means whether it is favorable or unfavorable. Okay, so in the exam or in the quiz, you don't have to write this sign, positive or negative, but simply explain whether this is favorable or unfavorable variance.
Subejo,
yep.
I have a question.
Yep.
So wouldn't it be that if the actual price is higher than the standard price, oh sorry, the actual cost is greater than the standard cost, it's favorable because oh no, okay, never mind, I understand. All right.
Okay. So this is the cost side. So cost basically expenses for companies. So the amount of cash or resources that they have to pay to suppliers, right? So if they pay less cost, it means it's good for them. So they have more cash on hand, right? So yeah, if they have a lower cost than the budget, so it means favorable for them. Okay, but this one, but the price is in the revenue side. So if the company can charge higher price to the customers, so they can get higher revenues. So for them, it's favorable because they have higher revenue and maybe have higher costs if they can collect the revenue. Okay, so hopefully this simple logic can give you the main idea of the variance. Okay, now let's move to the formula. Okay, so before the formula, so this is the illustration of these three main figures in the budget. So we have, first we have the static budget, and then we have the flexible budget, and we also have the actual result or actual performance. Okay, so the company will start with the static budget in the planning stage. So they will estimate the unit produced or unit sold, and the sales revenue, and then the costs, variable costs and fixed costs, and also they will calculate the operating incomes and contribution margin. So I think we have discussed the contribution margin is price minus variable cost, in case you forget the formula. Okay, so they start with the static budget in the beginning of the financial years, and once they start the activities, they will develop this flexible budget. Okay, and by the end of the accounting years, they will have the actual result or actual performance. Okay, so in the flexible budget, basically they will take the quantity from the actual result from this. Okay, and then they will take the cost or price from the budget. Okay, so by comparing this flexible budget figures and the actual results, we can identify the differences for in each account. Okay, and then identify whether we have favorable or unfavorable variance. So the difference between these two, we call it as flexible budget variance. Okay, so the difference between the flexible budget and the actual result is the flexible budget variance. Okay, so we compare this item by item. So in the sales revenue, the actual result is 396,000 and the budget is actually 400,000. So we can see that the revenue, the actual revenue is less than the budget. So we'll have unfavorable variance in the revenue side. Okay, and in the cost, variable cost side, so we can see the actual cost is slightly higher than the budget cost. So we also have some unfavorable variance there. Okay, and the contribution margin, again, the contribution margin in reality is smaller than in the budget. So we also have unfavorable variance. And then a fixed cost, we can see that the actual fixed cost is higher than, sorry, the actual fixed cost, some of the actual fixed cost is higher. So this one is we have unfavorable variance, but this one we have favorable variance. Okay, so we simply identify the difference between the flexible budget figures and the actual result. We can identify the variance in each item or account. Okay, so in the budget income, we call this format as segment reporting. Okay, or segment financial statement. Okay, now let's move to the formula. So the first group of variance, we have the direct material variance. Okay, so in the direct material variance, we have two types of variances. So first we have the variation in the price side. Okay, so variation in the direct material price. So we call that as a price variance. Okay, so basically we want to know, we want to identify the difference between the actual price and the budget price. Okay, so the manager wants to know the impact of the differences between actual price and the budget price. Okay, so, and we multiply this with the actual quantity purchased. So remember, we use the actual purchase by the company, not the actual quantity used in the production. Okay, because the price will affect their purchasing activities, not their production activities. Okay, so we will use the actual quantity purchased. Okay, so if the actual price is smaller than the budget price, then you will have a negative variance, right? So if this actual price is smaller than the budget price, okay, you will have a negative. But it not really means negative, but it means that the company is paying a lower price than the budget. Okay, so it means that it is a favorable variance. Okay, and if the actual price is higher than the budget, you will get a positive sign of variance. So it means that the company is paying a higher price to the suppliers. Okay, so it will be unfavorable for them. Okay, so in the exam or in the quiz, you don't need to explain why it is positive or negative. Okay, but you need to explain whether it is favorable or unfavorable. Okay, so one of the risks, if you only memorize the formula, but you don't get the basic idea or the basic logic of a variance, you will get confused with the positive or negative sign. Okay, but if you know the logic, you can easily interpret that minus means a favorable variance and positive means unfavorable variance. Okay, so the main question that you have to remember when calculating this price variance is whether the company spend more cash or more resources on materials than the budget. Okay, next is the usage variance. So in the usage variance, the manager wants to evaluate the differences between the quantity used, the actual quantity used, and the budget quantity. Okay, so in calculating this variance, we use the actual quantity used in production instead of actual quantity purchased. Okay, so this may have some differences because some of the materials will be used as stock in the warehouse and not used in the production. Okay, so you have to be careful whether you want to use the purchase quantity or the used quantity. Okay, so in the usage variant, we use the actual quantity used in production. So we take the difference between the actual quantity and the flexible budget quantity. Okay, so if we have a smaller, so if the actual quantity is smaller than the flexible budget quantity, it means that the company consume less materials in their production activities. You will get a negative sign of this variance, but it simply means that the company is more efficient than the initially targeted. Okay, so this will be a favorable variance. Okay, and if the actual quantity is higher than the budget quantity, okay, you will get a positive sign of this usage variance. But it simply means that we will have unfavorable variance because the company consume more materials in their production, okay, compared to the initial budget. Okay, so now they become less efficient in the production. Okay, so the question that you have to remember when you calculating this variance is whether the company use more materials than the budget. Okay, so using less material is good because they can lower the material cost. Okay, and then they can use the materials as a stock for the next financial year. Okay, so you have we have favorable and unfavorable variance. Okay, any comment or question on the direct material variances? No. Okay, so the next one is the direct labor variance. So we also have two types of variance in the direct labor group. So the first one is the rate variance or the price variance. Okay, so the manager wants to know the impact of the differences between the actual labor rate and the budget rate. Okay, so we want to capture the differences between these two figures. Okay, so if the actual rate is smaller than the budget rate, it means the company is paying less cash or less rate to their laborers. Okay, so you will get a negative variance. Okay, but it simply means that they have favorable variance because they can lower the labor costs, okay, in their production activities. Okay, and if they are paying a higher rate compared to the budget, you get a positive sign of this variance, but it simply means that the company have some unfavorable variance because they use more cash or more resources to pay their laborers. Okay, so the main question that you have to remember is whether the company paid the employees more than the budget. Okay, so paying more expenses or salaries or wages is consuming their resources, so it's not favorable for them in the future. Okay, the next one is the efficiency variance. So in the efficiency variance, we want to evaluate the differences in the actual hours and the flexible budget hours. Okay, so first the company have to calculate. Sometimes you have to calculate the actual hours manually because the question didn't give you the actual hours. Okay, so typically the question only mentioned about the actual total labor cost and the total labor hours consumptions. Okay, you can simply divide the total cost with the total number of hours, then you get the unit price. Okay, or unit rate. Okay, so we want to take into account the difference between the actual hours and the flexible budget hours. Okay, so if the actual hours is smaller than the budget hours, then the company, then you will have a negative sign of this variance. It means that this will be preferable variance. Okay, and if the actual hours is higher than the flexible budget hours, you will get a positive sign of this variance. It means that this is unfavorable variance. Okay, so we will multiply these differences between the actual hours and the flexible budget hours with the budget rate. Okay, so we take this rate from the flexible budget, okay, and multiply with the difference between the actual hours and the flexible budget hours. Okay, so the question that you have to remember when calculating this variance is whether the employees work more hours than the budget for. So whether the production takes more hours than the initial budget. Okay, so whether the production is less efficient or more efficient than the budget. Okay, any comment or questions on the direct labor variance? No? Okay, so now we can move to the homework. So the first one is exercise 2 and 3. So in the question, we have Sinclair and Reid, an accounting firm, has budget 200,000 in fixed expenses per month for the tax department. It has also budget variable cost of 10 per tax return and 70 for labor and 20 for computer time. Okay, so we have variable costs, 10 for supplies, 70 for labor, and 20 for computer time. Okay, so the firm expects that the revenue to be 600,000 based on 4,000 tax return at 300 each. During the current month, 3,700 tax returns were actually prepared and at an average fee of 294 each. And then actual variable costs were 18,200 for supplies. So this is the total cost for supplies, and then 130,000 for labor and 36,000 for computer time. And the actual fixed costs were 200,000. Okay, and then we need to prepare the flexible budget. So before we prepare the budget, we need to identify some important information from the questions. So let's start with the actual performance or actual values. So the actual quantity being prepared by this company is 3,700. Okay, so we'll use this quantity to calculate the flexible budget figures. And the variable cost, so total variable cost, so we have price, so actual price. So the actual price is 294. Okay, and then supplies. So supplies cost is 18,200. Okay, and then labor cost is 130,000. Okay, and then computer costs is 36,000. Okay, so this is some information from the actual performance. And then let's identify some information from the budget performance or budget figures. The quantity that the company targeted initially is 4,000 tax returns. So we have 4,000 tax return, and the budget price is 300 per tax return. Okay, and then the unit cost of labor, supplies cost is 10, and then labor cost is 70, and then computer cost is 20. Okay, and then we also have some fixed costs of 200,000. I think we can ignore the fixed cost. Okay, so we have collected some important information to calculate the budget. Okay, so now we can calculate the budget. I already prepared the table to make it easier. Okay, so we start with static budget. So in the static budget, we use the standard price and standard cost, and also the budget quantity. Okay, start with the sales revenue. So we have 4,000 budget quantity multiplied by 300 standard price. Okay, so we have 1.2 million. And then supplies expense, we have 10 standard cost times 4,000, we have 40,000. And then labor, we have 70 standard cost times 4,000. Computer expense, we have 20 times 40 times 4,000. The budget quantity. Okay, so we can calculate this. And then sum these three expenses and then deduct it from the sales. We got the gross profit. Okay, and then less fixed expenses, so 200,000, we get the net income of 600,000. Okay, for the static budget. Okay, now we can move to the actual performance or actual result. So in the actual performance or actual result, we use the actual price and actual cost, and also we use the actual quantity. Actual price or actual cost, and we use the actual quantity. Okay, so we multiply the actual price is 294, actual quantity is 3,700, we get 1 million. And the other information is already given in the question. So the total cost for supplies, labor, and computer, and we have the gross profit and net income. Okay, now we can go back to the flexible budget. So in the flexible budget, we use the standard price and standard cost and the actual quantity. Okay, so from sales revenue, we take from here. So we take the standard price from the from the static budget to calculate the flexible budget, and we take the actual quantity from the actual result. Okay, so 300 times 3,700, so we get 1.1 million in terms of revenues. And then supplies expense, we take the standard cost from the static budget. Okay, and then we take the actual revenues from the actual result. Okay, so We got these numbers, and then labor expense, again, we take the standard cost from the static budget. Computer expense, we also take this standard cost. Okay, so we can calculate the gross profit, and then we can deduct by the last fixed expenses, and we can get the flexible budget net income. Okay, so any comment or questions in preparing the flexible budget? Okay, so we simply take the actual quantity from the actual result or actual performance, and we take the standard price or standard cost from the static budget. Okay, now let's move to exercise 3. So in the exercise 3, we have to calculate the flexible budget variance. Okay, so we simply compare the flexible budget figures and the actual result or actual performance. Okay, so let's start from the revenue side. So in the flexible budget, we have 1.1 million, and in the actual result, we only have 1,087,000, which is lower than the budget. Okay, so we'll have unfavorable variance in the sales revenue. Okay, and in the supplies, we have 37,000 in the flexible budget, and then actual result is 18,200. We will get another, sorry, we have a favorable variance, so less cost in the actual performance than in the budget. Okay, and then in the labor expense, we got 259, and then 130,000 in the actual performance. Again, we will have favorable variance. Okay, and then computer expense, we have 74,000 in the budget, and actual result is 36,000. Again, we will have favorable variance. Okay, and then we can calculate the gross profit. Gross profit also higher in the actual result or actual performance. This is also favorable. We don't have variance in the fixed expenses, and in the net income, we have higher net income in the actual performance than the budget, which also favorable. Okay, so this is quite simple. Just take the difference between the actual result and the flexible budget, then you got the flexible budget variance. Okay, any comment or questions on exercise 2 and 3? No? Okay, so let's continue to exercise 7. Now we have production plus preparation, produce and sales special eyeglass straps for employees working in factories. 2018, the company budget for production and sales of 1,200 straps. However, the company produced and sold 1,100 straps. So initially they budget for 1,200, but in reality and actually only produce 1,100. Each strap has a standard requiring 1 meter, so 1 meter of standard cost per unit, and at the cost of $3 per meter, and 2 hours of assembly time at cost of 24 per hour. Okay, actual cost for the production is 1,100 items, and then the materials is 990 meters and 2.9 per meter, the cost. Okay, and labor is 2,420 and 24.1 per hour. Okay, and we have to calculate the direct material variance and direct material usage variance. So before we calculate the variances, let's identify some important information to calculate the variance. So in the direct labor, in the actual rate is 24.1. Okay, and the budget rate is 24. Okay, so you can simply, looking at these differences in rate, you can see that the actual rate is slightly higher than the budget rate. Okay, so the variance will be, most likely will be unfavorable, right? And then the actual hours work. So in total, the actual hours is 2,420. Okay, and the budget hours is budget hours is 24. Sorry, budget hours 1,100 units and 2 hours. Sorry, 2 hours per unit. Okay, so 2 hours times 1,100, we got 2,200. Okay, again, you can see that the actual hours is higher than the budget hours. For material, the actual price of material is 2.9, while the budget price is $3. Okay, so you can see that the actual price is slightly lower than the budget price, so the variance is most likely will be favorable. And then the actual quantity used, we got 990 meters. Okay, and actual quantity purchase, I don't think we have purchase information. So yeah, we don't have it. So let's assume that the actual quantity purchase is the same with the one that they consume for productions. Okay, and the budget quantity is $1, 1 meter per 1 meter per strap. Okay, and then the quantity is 1,100, so we got 1,100 for budget quantity. Okay, now we already have all the numbers, and now we can easily calculate the variance. Okay, so let's start with the price variance. So in the price variance, we want to evaluate the differences in price between the actual and budget price. Okay, so the actual price is 2.9 and the budget price is 3. Okay, so you can see that the actual price is smaller than the budget price, then you will get a negative variance because of this. I multiply by the actual quantity purchase. Okay, so this will be a favorable variance because the company is paying less cash for direct material purchases. Okay, so you can get 99, which is favorable. Okay, so you don't have to write this sign actually. Okay, so in the exam or in the quiz, you don't have to write the sign. Just simply put the numbers and explain whether this is favorable or unfavorable. Okay, and any direct material efficiency. So we want to evaluate the difference between the actual quantity used and the budget quantity. So actual quantity is 990 and the budget quantity is 1,100. Again, we found that the actual quantity is smaller than the budget. So you will get another negative sign of the variance, which simply means this is a favorable variance. Okay, times the budget price, which is $3 per meter. Okay, so you get 330. So you don't have to write this sign, just simply explain whether this is a favorable variance.
Subhajir,
Yep.
could you explain why the actual quantity purchased is 990 and not 1,100?
Actually, the question does not mention clearly the material purchase, but they only mention that material used for production, which is 990. So this one.
Right.
Okay. So the actual cost for production is 2,800 for 990 meters at 2.9 per meter. So in this kind of case, when the question doesn't differentiate between the actual material purchase and actual material used for production, you can assume that the material purchase is equal with the material used for production. Okay, so it means that the company use all the materials that they purchase in the current year for production activities. So they don't leave any stock of material in the warehouse.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, any other comment or questions? Okay, so now let's move to the next one is the labor variance. So we use the same information as in the exercise 7, but now we have to calculate the labor variances. So let's start with the price variance. So in the price variance, we want to evaluate the differences in price between the actual price and the budget price, okay, or actual rate. And then we multiply this with the actual hours, actual labor hours. Okay, and we found in the question that the actual rate is 24.1 and the budget rate is 24. So we can see that the actual rate is slightly higher than the budget rate, which will bring you positive variance, okay, which simply means that the company is paying a slightly expensive rate to their employees or laborers, okay, and so it means unfavorable for them. So we multiply this with the actual hours, which is 2,420, so we get 242 of variance, which is unfavorable. Okay, and the next one, we want to evaluate the actual hours and the budget hours. So the actual hours is 2,420 and the budget hours is 2,200. We multiply this with the budget rate. Okay, so we can see that the actual hours is higher than the budget hours. Okay, so you will get a positive variance, which means that this variance is also unfavorable to the company. Okay, so you get 5,280 variance. Okay, so you can see that if we already identify the numbers, okay, so it's really easy to calculate the variance because we just plug all the number to the formula and we can get the amount of variance. Okay, but it's also really critical that you correctly identify whether this is favorable or unfavorable variance. Okay, any comment or questions for exercise 8? No? Okay, so the next one is the discussion questions. So the question is the variance analysis doesn't help us or doesn't help the manager to solve problems. It just tells us what they are or where they are. Discuss this statement. Do you agree with this statement? So does variance tells the manager the problem or they just show the manager an indication of a problem? Okay, so if you look at the formula of variance, you can see that the formula is very broad or very general. We just simply take the difference between the flexible budget figures and the actual figures, okay, which is very broad. So yeah, so variance doesn't tell the manager specific problems in specific areas because the formula is very broad. And variance is not timely. So another limitation of variance is not timely because we use the past performance to calculate the variance, while the manager might focus on the future performance. Okay, so the manager need to maintain the performance is within the time frame or within the target that already been given in the initial budget or initial static budget. Okay, so yes, variance is not timely because most of the formula use the past information or past performance. And then variance give a lot of attention on the cost side instead of the revenue side or the quality side of the company's performance. Okay, so in the variance, basic assumption of variance, less cost means unfavorable to the companies. Okay, so less cost means favorable to the company. So if the company consume less cash or less resources in the production activities, it means they are better off. They have more cash on hand or more resources. Okay, but sometimes in reality, there's a cost and quality trade-off, right? So if the company consume less or they spend less resources to the production activities, they may produce less or lower quality products, okay, which is not really good in the market. Okay, so sometimes only focusing on cost is not really helping the company to achieve higher sales or higher revenues from their production activities. Okay, so cost is not everything. So sometimes the manager should also consider some qualitative aspect like quality or customer satisfaction, okay, or even some employee specific aspects. Okay, so this is some limitation. You can add more limitation of variance if you found in the textbook or in the reference. But in overall, so if you consider variance in overall, I think variance is still very useful for managers to give some early indication of problems or a symptom of problems, okay, in the specific area of the company's operation. Okay, because manager is very busy mostly, so the managers only have limited time to oversee the company's operations. So they need to be guided on specific areas that they need to give more attention. Okay, and variance is one of the useful tools to guide managers on specific areas that may have some problems, and the managers can investigate further what is really happening, because they may have some unfavorable variance there, and if they found problems, they can do some immediate corrective actions. Okay, so yes, variance have some major limitations because of the construction of the variance, but in overall, it's still very useful to help the manager in managing or controlling the overall company's operation. Okay, do you have any comment or idea about this question? No? Okay, I think we still have time. I want to discuss one more question, which is the extension question. I think the question is really interesting and quite similar with the one that you will found in the quiz or in the exam. Okay, so in the question we have Sunday Manufacturing. This company produce cartons of beer sold internationally. The company revealed that the following budgetary information. So we have information on the direct materials and direct labors from the budget. Okay, so the cost or the standard cost of materials is 1.5 per kg and direct labor is 25 per hour. And the products will consume 12 minutes of labor per carton and 5 kg of materials per unit. Okay, And then in the actual performance, we know that 4,000 cartons were sold in 2010 and 300 cartons were ready for sale at the beginning of 2010. So this is basically the beginning materials, sorry, the beginning finished good or beginning inventories. Okay, so before the company start production in 2010, they already have some stock from the previous years, which is 300, okay, available in the warehouse. Okay, and 800 finished cartons were in stock at the end of 2010. So this is basically the ending inventories by the end of 2010. Okay, and direct labor staff had actually worked for 1,000 hours and were paid 26,500 in total. So this is total cost of labors. And the 25,000 kilograms of direct materials were purchased in July for 40,000. Direct materials balance in the raw materials warehouse were 2,000 kilograms at the start of 2010 and 6,000 at the end of 2010. So this is, again, this is an ending materials balance. And this one is the beginning balance of materials. Okay, so before we calculate the variance, first we need to calculate the unit production. So actual unit production and also the material used for production. Okay, so let's start with the units. Okay, so produce unit. So we know from the question that the initial balance or the beginning inventory of the carton is 800. Okay, so before the company start the production, they already have 800 available in the warehouse as the initial stock. Okay, and then they produce and sold during the year is 4,000. Okay, and the ending balance of finished good is 300. Okay, so we can deduct this ending balance, then we get the unit produced during the year. Okay, so 4,800 minus 300, we got 4,500 units. Okay, produced during the 2010 financial year. Okay, now we need to calculate the material used for production. Okay, so it's the same idea. So material use. The company have the beginning inventory of material. The beginning material is 2,000. Okay, and the purchase of materials during 2010 is 25,000. Okay, and then the ending balance of this material is 6,000. Okay, so 25 plus 2, 27 minus 6, we got 21,000 of material used for production. Okay, now we can calculate the variance. So let's start with the material variance. Okay, so first let's calculate the material price variance. Okay, so we have the first one is the material price variance. Okay, so in the material price variance, we want to know the impact of differences in the price, okay, between the budget price and the actual price, multiply with the total material purchased by the company. Okay, so we know that the purchase is this one, 25,000. So material purchase is 25,000. So we multiply this with the actual price minus the budget price or standard price. Okay, so we don't have the actual price per unit, so we have to calculate manually. So we have the total cost of materials, which is 40,000. And then the total quantity purchased is this one, 25,000. Okay, so this will be the cost, actual cost per unit or actual price per unit. Okay, so this will be deducted by the budget price. The budget price is 1.5, we know from the question, so 1.5 per unit or per meter, per kg, sorry. Okay, so this one is 1.6. Okay, so you can see that the actual price is higher than the budget price. Okay, so this variance will be unfavorable. Okay, so 0.1 times 2,500, we got, sorry, 25,000, we get 2,500 variance, unfavorable variance. Okay, so this is the material price variance. And the next one is the material usage variance. Okay, so in the material usage, we want to know the impact of difference in the quantity of material used for production. So we multiply the difference in the material quantity with the budget price or budget rate. Okay, we know that the budget rate is 1.5 from this, 1.5 multiply by actual quantity use. We also know from the question that the actual quantity use is this one. We already calculate, so the 21,000 actual quantity used for production. Okay, and then minus the budget quantity. So the budget quantity, we don't have it, we have to calculate. So the budget quantity will be number of units produced, 4,500. We already calculate this one. Multiply by the unit price or unit cost. Okay, which is 5 kg per unit. Okay, so 5 kg per unit for material consumption. Okay, so we multiply this, we'll get a 22,500 kg. Okay, so you can see that the actual consumption is lower than the budget. So we will have a favorable variance. Okay, so we have 1,500 times 1.5, then we'll get 2,250 favorable variance. Okay, so this is the material variances. The next one is the labor variance. So we have the labor rate variance. Okay, so we want to know the impact of differences in rate to the company. Okay, so we multiply with the actual quantity of labor with the differences in rate. So we know from the question that the actual quantity of labor is 1,000 actual consumption of labor hours, and the rate is the actual rate is, we don't know it, we have to calculate. So actual rate is total cost of labor 2,500, 26,500 divided by 1,000 hours of actual labor consumption, okay, minus the budget rate or standard rate, which is 25. Okay, so if we calculate this, we'll get 26.5. Okay, so you can see the actual rate is higher than the budget rate. So we will have unfavorable variance. Okay, which is 26 and 500. Oh, sorry. 1.5 times 1,000, 1,500. And lastly, we have the labor usage variance or labor efficiency variance. Okay, so we want to know the differences of labor consumption. Okay, and we multiply the differences with the rate, the budget rate. So budget rate is 25. Okay, so we need to calculate the actual labor consumption. So we know that the company produced 4,500 units during the years. Okay, we have calculated this one. And each unit will consume 12 minutes of labor hours. So if we multiply this 12 minutes with 4,500, we got the total labor consumption, but in minutes, not in hours. So we have to transform this labor hours, total labor hours to hours, not minutes. So we simply divide this with 60 minutes. Okay, so we got the labor hours, total labor hours consumption. Okay, so which is 6,000 hours. Oh, sorry, 1,000 hours. So we got 1,000 hours. Okay, and then we deduct this actual hours with the labor hours. So with the budget hours. So the budget hours is 900. Okay, so yeah, we can calculate this. So you can see that the actual hours 1,000 is higher than the budget hours. Okay, so this will be unfavorable variance. So 100 times 25, we got 2,500 of unfavorable variance. Okay. Okay, this is the extension question. So let's try this at home. So I think the question is very good for you to practice some variation of variance calculation. So in the exam or in the quiz, you will not be given all the numbers or figures that you need to calculate the variance with the formula, but you have to manually calculate the actual unit produced or material consumption and some unit price or unit cost. Okay, so in order to calculate the variance, and again, you have to properly identify whether it is unfavorable or favorable variance. Okay, any comment or questions? So I will mark your homework for this week. So if you haven't submitted your homework, please do so. Okay, I think the homework is not difficult. So this is not part of your homework, so you don't have to submit the extension question, but only the homework that you have to do. So exercise 2, 3, and 7 and 8, and also the discussion question. Okay, any comment or question? Yep.
When will we get our results back for the MYOB assignment?
We finished marking the assignment. I think Nelson is currently checking some plagiarism case.
Right.
Okay, I think should be available by the end of this week.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so I think most of you done okay with the assignment. Okay, any comment or question before we finish the tutorials? Okay, so yeah, I think we can finish this. So I'll send you a slide and video as usual. Okay, so see you next week. Have a nice day.
See you next week.
See
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.